All right, so you wouldn't have not spotted anything because for some reason the camera keeps dying when it shouldn't. So I have my extension cord here, and I didn't really talk about the power, but with the exception of this power cord. So it's about, I don't know, I want to say it's about 8. I want to say it's about 8-foot power cord, and comes with this little cap. You just flip it up. Actually, I think when you get it, it's actually locked in place. Hold up. Let's see. Yeah, so when you get it, it's locked in place, and if you just twist it, it gets there. You can open it up. Looks like that. And then I'm gonna be holding it just open like this. Then it has this connector. You just push it in straight, and it doesn't appear like it has a twist to lock or anything. It's just on there. Open, close. Okay. So yeah, if you know otherwise about the twist to lock, as far as the power function, obviously it's not plugged in, but it has this locking mechanism here, and if you look closely, it has an arrow. So when it's fully locked, you got to push that little thing in to release it, and then you have your green on button and your off button. Look at it, the difference. The power off button is slightly protruding, and that's because when you have it all the way in, it's completely off. And when you're just using it, you just leave it hanging right there, and when you need to kill it, you just tap it in. So we'll see that. So let's completely turn it off. Let's go plug this bad boy in. In a perfect world, you would not want to use an extension cord if you can avoid it. But if you do want to use one of the appropriate gauge and specs, like I said, I have not read the manual on this. So let's see. This is a 16 amp. It's waterproof connector. Doesn't really tell me a whole lot that I can read. It's IP54 rated, and that is IP67. I actually don't know what I know it's the IP is like the wet resistance, but I just don't know what the measure really means. But again, I need to look in the manual and start getting familiar with this thing, because we plan to install some large capacity tiles on the DIY level. All right, so let's get this thing started, and let me make sure my son is not going to get in that. So that's where he was standing at the door, and so I had to redo my video. All right, you see, nothing is gonna get cut. That's not supposed to, except thin air. So, for what it's worth, there's some specs. And normally I wouldn't do this, but real quick, my fingers are clear of the saw. I just noticed that, so I just wanted to zoom in real quick without unplugging it, but do not do that. Do not put your hands on a blade that's plugged in, on a unit that's plugged in. So to start it again, we'll just... Let's see if this thing is actually sucking. Yeah, I can feel it vibrating. So I think it's running. But yeah, That's pretty quiet compared to my my DeWalt. Let's just put a tile on it real quick, just for. Let's just move this out of the way. We're just gonna put a tile on it. We're not gonna cut anything, but we're just gonna put a tile on there. Now, this tile was a sample I got from Home Depot just to see how I like it. I do like it. I think I might go with this one, but that's why it's dirty. It's not. It's been sitting outside, so that's why it's dirty. I removed the cardboard and everything, and it's just been sitting out there getting rained on and everything else. You know, it's gonna get scuffed. It's just part of it. So when you're working with this, obviously you have a positive fence stop, right? You got your 90 there, and it's not gonna go anywhere. And so, you know, you can make your mark, and I'm not gonna turn this on, but what I'm gonna do is release it so it can slide freely. This is a nice thumb spot right here, ball. And then, obviously, if you didn't need to make a plunge or anything, you can always reach across and undo this. It's not gonna fall because it's spring tensioned. So you can do that, get your blade fully depressed, and then you can just kind of let the rubber meet the road right there. And so you're pulling, you know, you say you want to just score your tile initially, you can just score it, you know, score your tile. I'm not sure what's best, especially on these large farmer tiles. Do you want to score it first, or do you want to just go for the cut? So I'll be watching a couple of YouTubers, Winnie, Sal. Those guys seem like they're expert. The Tile Coach, maybe, all those guys. Like I said, I've did my garage, and I have a DeWalt 10-inch professional saw. I'm gonna set it also because I got to do my backstop, my backsplash, and so having these two is gonna be all the saw that I need. If I did not mention the price, I forgot if I mentioned it in the first video, but this was $3,300, so it's not cheap. If you need warranty or service, call RUBI, not me. And so, yeah, it is not cheap by any means, but this is the last tile saw that I'll ever need. What do I plan to do with it after? I could sell it, or I could rent it or something. I will say that I tried to find one on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. I saw a smaller one on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy was really hesitant about selling, and not hesitant, but I don't know. I guess there's a bunch of like scamming stuff with Facebook Marketplace, so people are more hesitant, and I don't know. It took forever to discuss that transaction, so I kind of held off, and I just kind of wanted to just go in all out and get the biggest capacity one that I could get. For the purpose of the motor, the best thing that could be do with for the purpose of the longevity of the motor, probably, you know, a 220, but not everyone's going to have 220, especially in this type of application, you know, new construction and or remodeling. So 110 is fine. Yeah, you could get a generator, but that's just extra noise and parts and pieces and expenses, and the sun is coming out. So this is gonna live here by these bikes, and this is where I'm gonna be doing my tile cutting. And so I'm gonna set up my tile cutting station here. So I got to get a mixer. I have a mud mixer, but it's a Milwaukee battery powered one, and after doing my garage and having to change batteries, I'm just gonna get the, what do you call it, the rigid mud mixer from Home Depot. I have the suction cup by Graco. I don't have the professional one, I just have the normal one, which should be fine. I wish I had gotten the one with they can adjust the pressure. It's probably not too late to return them and get that. But I have those. I already have my Charles and all that stuff. Like I said, I might get some fence, get a new blade for my angle grinder, get some hole cutting saw, all that stuff for tile. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. It works. I haven't tried a water feature. I just don't want to. I don't want to get it wet yet. But I should. But let's just unplug it while we're talking about it, so I don't do anything dumb, different, or dangerous. But yeah, I gotta pack this stuff up. Look like it might get rainy, so I don't want it to get rained on and never been used. So yeah, all in all, this is it. And like I said, 61 inches, a 61 tile is pretty big. And then you can get an out-feet table and you could cut wider. The width of the tile doesn't matter, it's just the length. So 61, just a straight cut. 64 will give you a plunge cut. Yeah, that's big. It's big. She's a big boy. All right, as we always say, like on editing.